From the moment I saw Thor in 2011, Loki, my first MCU crush.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Loki episodes 1 through 4.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for every new video that we put out.
Let's get into it.
Loki, the series Loki, starring the beloved, the handsome, the good-looking Tom Hiddleston. I would like to take a couple of minutes as to why I love Loki. From the moment I saw Thor in 2011, Loki, my first MCU crush. Yes, Loki. I know a lot of people, a lot of guys actually, guy friends used to question me as a kid. Like, why you like Loki? Why do you like Loki? I thought you liked Thor. No. Thor in this sense, the reason why a lot of women like Loki instead of Thor or are attracted to Loki as the Thor is because Thor embodies the male gaze.
Okay.
And Loki embodies more of the female gaze. The male gaze more so pertains to the body, the physique. You would see that in like any action-packed movie. Like watch Transformers and Megan Fox. When we're introduced to her character, it's mostly panned up on her body.
Yeah, they're over-sexualizing her.
And
for the male gaze.
Yeah, and in some of the even if you look at some of your movie covers, television shows and covers, you'll see that there's hair in the face, but there's more attention to the body. That's the male gaze.
The female gaze.
The female gaze is more so the face, hands. It's paying attention to facial expressions and emotions. And you can see it in the Loki series because, for one, throughout all the Thor movies and the Avengers movies that Loki has been in, he's only wore his hair once, and that was in Thor 1. For the rest of the movies, his hair is long, greasy, terrible wig. And it's all in his face.
Wig.
But in this series, Tom Hiddleston dyed his hair.
And you really see his face because it's like pushed back.
Yeah, it's pushed back. It looks, your hair looks so sexy pushed back.
So it starts with
basically that one scene from Endgame where Tony drops the cube because
the Tesseract.
Yeah, he busted the thing and Loki picked it up.
And so we like when Loki picks up the Tesseract and disappears, where did he go? We never knew. Now we know. He gets captured by something called the TVA.
Time Variant
Agents.
I think it's Agents or Association.
I think it's Agents. Time Variant Agents. Time Variant Agents, I think. Anyway, so they're the TVA, and they essentially capture variants, which are people that disrupt the natural.
They disrupt the sacred timeline. Because Nexus, they cause a Nexus event where something that basically
so essentially it looks kind of like this. The timeline is supposed to be like the straight lump, and then you have variants who cause disruptions, making an alternate timeline while the regular timeline is also still going on. And those will be considered Nexus events, but it's supposed to just be one straight timeline.
It sounds like a lot of crap, in my opinion.
TVA is controlled by what is known as the Timekeepers, and essentially they kind of choose what is considered to be the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
And so Loki was like realizing that he was figuring out, like, in each timeline he was always meant to be unhappy,
a failure,
miserable. And whose fault is that?
We don't know.
I think they're evil, but
I think they're evil too. And this show really, it also has it's like an analysis of religion.
I think so too, because oh my gosh, I loved this scene. I don't remember what episode it was, but Loki, after he got taken by the TVA, he was getting arrested and stuff.
Girl, episode 1.
Whatever. And he went and he found the Tazarek. Not only did he find the Tazarek, he also found this Infinity Stones. And he was just like, they're nothing here. Like, wherever the TVA is above all of that. Like, none of his powers worked. None of the stones worked. He was essentially meaningless.
This is basically Loki realizing that he's an ant.
Yeah, he's a minute little
He's
piece.
not the boot, and that the boot has to be worn by a being, and then the being exists on itself.
Yeah.
It's basically like if we found out that Earth is a speck on Horton Hears a Who, Horton Hears a Who. Basically that realization.
Yeah.
So he kind of just, basically my life isn't my own, so let me just be here.
Yeah. So he comes to that, and then he also, I don't remember when he gets his file, because when you get your file, like, they already know what's going to happen. They know what happens in between when you're born and when you die. Mm-hmm. And so he sees all of that. And remember, this is still Loki from 2012. That's the Loki that is the variant.
This is the Loki that basically killed, he ripped some guy's eye out.
Yeah.
Killed a bunch of people. Mobius is he's one of the agents that works for the timekeepers and whatever. And he was basically like, you're just a killer, dude. A killer that lose.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. And then they explain exactly what a variant is and how there are different versions of Loki, different timelines.
My favorite Loki so far, from when we see and like in the little holograms or whatever, I want to see the giant frost.
I feel like we'll see them. We might see them. June. In the last episode, they hinted that we're gonna be introduced to a bunch of different Lokis. So far, we're really introduced to the female Loki,
Lady Loki,
and she's named herself. Well, they've named themselves.
I'm gonna call her. This is Sylvie. She named herself Sylvie, aka Enchantress. Guys, she's Enchantress. I mean, before we even figured out that her name was Sylvie, they talking about, you put an enchantment on people. She's Enchantress from Marvel Comics, not DC. Enchantress from Marvel. But I'm gonna just say this. When I first saw Sylvie, she was a bit of a disappointment because she's not what I perceived Lady Loki to be. I understand that they want Lady Loki to be, this Lady Loki to have a connection as into becoming Enchantress. But my version of Lady Loki looked like hella her.
Find out she is a variant that they've been looking and searching for years, but they've never been able to maintain her. And so she and Loki kind of escape, and I forgot what episode this was too, but they leave off with a cliffhanger.
They escape in episode 3, but they're on the moon.
Oh, whatever. Point was, she tells him that everyone at the TVA is a variant. Yeah. Their memories have just been washed away, which was crazy.
Sylvie x Loki is never gonna happen. I wish the fandom would stop. At least half of us have sense to know.
Stop trying to make it happen.
It's creepy.
It's really creepy. It's like falling in love with
not yourself, but like your twin, in my opinion.
Because
don't we have the same everything?
Yeah, it's really weird. They should, in my opinion, more like sibling type of relationship, and it's extremely narcissistic. And I need these action television shows and movies to stop always trying to bring romance in, because sometimes it's not needed if the plot is strong enough. And in this case, I feel like the plot was strong enough. I don't know why Marvel feels like they need to have some type of romance, even if it's a little bit.
They only had like an episode of getting to know each other, which is such a cop-out.
They've known each other less than 24 hours. It's weird. And I feel like it's so unnecessary.
I hope this is Loki trying to figure out what type of love he has for Sylvie. Not romantic, but just maybe this is his way of finding self-love.
Well, I hope so. It didn't seem like that. The way he was looking at her,
kind of weird.
I was just like, Tom.
Cause does that mean we have to find self-love through other people, aka other versions of yourself? I don't know. Is that a good message? Finding self-love through different versions of yourself?
But I feel like that's not what their intentions are. I feel like they're trying to just make it something weird and romantic, and it's weird, and they need to not do that. Not sure if we touched on this, but when Loki got evaporated, he didn't die. He went to a place.
I think he went to the worst timeline, and that's where probably all your variants go, because at the end we have a parallel shot to the first Avengers, and at the end of this Loki episode where basically it's Loki on the ground and we get his POV of these group of superheroes. Are the Loki variants superheroes?
They look like superheroes. So you have the Loki Thor, he's black, everyone else is white or animalistic. You got Old Man Loki, Alligator, Old Man comic book Loki, Alligator Loki,
Kid Loki,
and then you have the Loki we know, the pale dark hair Loki. Pale dark hair Loki.
2012 Loki.
And then there of course are more versions of Loki. They just weren't in that shot. So yep, that's how it ended.
Yeah, I don't really know what the heck the next episode. Surprisingly, this show's gonna get a season 2. It's not gonna be like the other ones.
I'm actually looking forward to it. Okay, bear with me. This is my hypothesis. So the way the timelines can change, so variants can change timelines. So what if, and stay with me, what if Marvel has something up their sleeve where, because Loki knows what's going to happen with Thanos, like he's read his end, his doom. So what if he goes back to that time, he's in a different mindset right now, and changes the whole thing, so everything that happened with Endgame never happened.
Girl, how they gonna proceed with the movies?
Nobody ever disappeared.
So we just go.
Oh, that's right. What about Falcon, Tony,
Winter Soldier?
I don't know, but I feel like they're leading up to something that he's gonna end up changing the timeline. I just have a theory.
I don't think he's gonna end up changing the timeline. I think he's going to let time flow, which is going to disrupt somebody big. Probably. I don't know.
You know what also really didn't make sense? Since these time variants mess up the timeline, so wouldn't the Avengers going back in time, changing the time, make them variants as well? Or the timekeepers, they have favorites and let certain people mess up the natural flow?
Doctor Strange is the villain in my eyes, because basically he I think he knows about all these Nexus, TVA, all this stuff.
Of course.
He's a villain, because you mean to tell me out of all outcomes, only one had to end with me dying and all this other stuff? I'm just like, you know what? Not me, but Tony dying and all this other stuff. I don't really care about Tony dying.
There were probably other outcomes with him living.
I just need an explanation, because it's strange trying to fix everybody's wrong, because Wanda decided to basically be a colonizer, because she is Wanda. One, and enslave people yet again.
I couldn't get past 3 episodes of her show, WandaVision, so we're not.
I don't understand why people liked it that much. I have my problems with it, but other than that, I don't understand why people liked it that much.
I couldn't get into it. But what I'm looking forward to seeing more from Loki, just more about his different variants, really, and then to see what Gugu knows about the timekeepers. So that's what I'm looking forward to see in the next upcoming episodes. Well, everybody, that was a very brief recap analysis over episodes 1 through 4 of Loki. Let us know what you thought about that. If you disagreed, agreed, or have your own thoughts on things we didn't get to touch on.
Bye, y'all.
Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for more episodes. And we shall see you next video. Bye.